Today's gonna be a rough day, people. Like, just gird your loins. Well, hello and welcome back, herd. I hope you're ready for this. I know the last few days have been a little bit slow here in Frostpunk, but today's the day when everything changes. We're about to scout Winterhome and find out what happened. And when we do, everything at home is gonna go a little sideways. Now, before we scout Winterhome, I just want to do a couple of housekeeping things. We've only got one sick person right now. I'm actually going to take these engineers off of this infirmary, and I'm going to put them over here on the cookhouse. If you'll remember, yesterday we accepted a quest to feed the hungry full meals. We want to complete that today, get that little hope bonus. And you'll see why I'm so concerned about hope just as soon as we scout Winterhome. Now that leaves us with 6 engineers who are unemployed. I don't want to half-staff the infirmary. We don't need it for patients. What I am going to do, though, is build a second scout team. We researched more scout teams way back and never actually made use of it. Now is where I'm going to put it into use. I want to take 5 workers, probably from the sawmill. We have a ton of wood coming in per day, 357 wood coming in per day. So having a short-staffed sawmill will not hurt us at all. So we're gonna take a few workers off of each of these sawmills. We'll replace them with engineers for now. And that actually keeps them fully staffed. We're gonna go ahead and make this scout team. Now, the reason I'm doing it right now is because I know what to expect after we scout Winterhome. We're gonna go ahead and send our scouts out to the gloomy cave, because we're gonna have a new area to scout just past that once we discover Winterhome. And I'm gonna wait until about 8 o'clock this morning to scout Winterhome. I will discuss why I did that after we scout Winterhome, because if I tell you right this second, I'm gonna have to tell you what happens when we scout Winterhome, and I want you to be surprised if you've never played. But if you're watching this, you probably have played, and you probably do know. Ah, the suspense! The suspense! Now then, we have a public house and a care house just waiting to be finished after we scout Winterhome. I'm just gonna speed up time just a wee bit. It is 6:30 in the morning. Let's make it through the day. Tomorrow will be better. Today's gonna be a rough day, people. Like, just gird your loins. Oh, I should have turned up the heat before then. Okay, so we just got our temperature drop. It's not a big deal for us right now. We have experience dealing with this temperature level. We have more than enough coal to turn up the generator. We're still running a coal profit, even turning up the generator. Now, yeah, we're just about ready to scout Winterhome, and our other scout is waiting out there at the gloomy cave, so as soon as that new destination pops open, we'll send them along. That's close enough to 8. Let's find out what happened in Winterhome. I hope you're ready for this. We climbed up to the edge of the city. We stood there speechless, staring at the scene of devastation. It's a city of the dead. Most of the buildings are destroyed, and the generator has exploded. Well, that's unfortunate. We will take your steam cores from that generator, though. The fall of Winterhome. The streets of the ruined city are littered with scores of dead bodies. The City Chronicle describes the shortage of food and citizens' increasing despair. The following squabbles, riots, and descent into anarchy fights for dwindling resources, and the eventual starvation. The last entry, God forgive us. We're eating our dead. There's no hope. And you guys thought soup was bad. Come on. We are on our own. Now we're about to get a story pop up, but before we get that, I'm gonna go ahead and send our scouts to where they're going. The scout that just found Winterhome, or has been standing on the edge of Winterhome for like 4 days, is now gonna go onto the snow cliff, and you'll see here on the other side, we've now opened up an American camp. We've got a scout in position to run on over there. This is just me maximizing my efficiency. You don't have to play this efficiently in order to win, just FYI. Okay. Now, this is where things go sideways. The news has shocked everyone in the city. There were supposed to be many settlements and construction crews here. People living normal lives in homes heated by generators. But we're alone. Hope falls. Coming here was a fool's errand. We should go back. Yeah, sounds like a great idea. You just walk your sorry butt back across the Frostland. So people are panicking. They're all dead. How will we survive here without any help? We have to go back to London. There's no hope for us here in this frozen desert. London is frozen too, you morons. Every place is frozen. People start to gather as the news of the fate of Winterhome spreads through the city. Some of them want to drop everything and flee to London. Panic is starting to set in. It is time for me to lead. I must give them purpose. People are shaken, racked by fear and doubt. They've lost hope in our chances of survival. Desperation could quickly push them to commit reckless acts. You have to unite them behind a vision of the future. Decide now what will give them purpose and restore hope, or else our city will descend into the chaos that consumed Winterhome. So, order or faith? If you are new to this game, I would recommend you go faith. It is, in my opinion, slightly easier than going order. You have more hope-boosting abilities if you go faith, so it makes it a little bit easier what's about to come next. Personally, though, all those churches and spiritual stuff seems kind of wishy-washy for, you know, the terrible apocalypse that we're living through. And I guess I'm a fascist. Also, I like the buildings in order better than faith. They look cooler. So, for me, personally, order. Always order. So, first law in the order tree is neighborhood watch. Now, in the faith tree, if you go faith, I believe the first building actually does have an active ability that you can use, sermon or prayer or something. If you've gone faith recently, comment down below. I have not gone faith since probably my very first or maybe my second playthrough of the game. I like the buildings in order better. They're also easier to work with because the churches or temples or whatever they are have a weird footprint to try to fit into your housing areas. Can be done though. Crystal Daz actually has a great city layout for Faith, and I will link it. So, Neighborhood Watch. This does not have an active building ability for you to use for hope, but watchtowers increase the hope of people living nearby. So it's a passive boost. You don't have to do anything, but it is not as strong as the faith boost right out the gate. But I have prepared for this. We have things to work with to deal with our low hope. Now, some people are unhappy about the long work days still, and you know what? I still don't care. It's gonna make you angry. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Just get to work. Especially with over there in the steel works. I need that steel. We're about to run into that bottleneck. Now we're gonna go ahead and drop down some watchtowers, and I'll put one there and one there. So earlier in the Let's Play series, when I was talking about leaving those spots open for a building later in the game, the watchtowers is what I was talking about. I knew I was going to want to build them. So now we only have one unemployed person, and they're in treatment. Get better soon. I feel safer knowing my neighbor is watching my back. It seems like a good idea, but I worry where it may lead. Have a little faith, people. I've got you, okay? I've got you. Everything's gonna be fine. I mean, look how good we're doing here. Nobody's hungry. We've got a few sick people, but they've all got beds. We're not even overcrowding our medical facilities. So, you know, just relax. So, here they are, not relaxing. Ready for this? The Londoners. The unconvinced want to leave. Sir, you've convinced the majority, but hope is low. A group of our people are still so scared that they want to flee the city for London in 15 days. They've come to try to change your mind. You say order will save us? Nonsense! What, are we going to orderly decide who to eat first when we start to starve? If we don't try to reach London, we'll end up like Winterhome. Seriously, calm down. You're much less likely to die here around this generator, for which we have plenty of coal, than you are if you go trekking back across the frozen wasteland to get to a city that is buried under snow. Like, just relax. I know it's frightening, but everything's gonna be okay. Calm down. We're not gonna die. The Londoners. Your people are divided. Some of them are so scared that they plan to leave the city for London in 15 days. They'll try to convince others to join them, preying on their discontent. Fear may lead people to desperate acts. Maintain peace, give people hope, and manage their discontent to guide the city safely through the looming social crisis. So, this is Act 2. The first part of the game is all about resource management, dealing with the physical needs of your city. The second part of the game is dealing with the social needs of your city. People are scared, and they don't know what to do, and they're looking to you for leadership. So just when you thought you had a handle on the game, everything's different. But I will guide you through. Don't worry. Now we need to research something. next thing I want to research is actually steam coal mines. That's why we opened up mechanical calculators. I want to get well in front of our coal needs. So we're going to start with steam coal mine in just a few seconds when we have enough steel for it. Just got to get 25 steel. I'm wasting precious research time. Please give me the steel now. What are you guys doing over there in the steelworks? Thank you. Jeez. Okay, so steam coal mine. We're gonna go ahead and research that. Now we're gonna also unpause the public house and the care house. We seem to have a few people around building. They're engineers, so I'm guessing they're probably the off-duty engineers from the infirmary. That's fine. We'll let them do that building. Now, the watchtowers do need to be employed. They need to have workers in them. You can use either workers or engineers, either one, but you do need to staff them. This is another reason Order is a little bit more difficult than Faith. The early buildings for Faith don't require any employees, so they're a little bit easier to get up and going, but we'll manage just fine. I'm not gonna fully staff these watchtowers until we get some more people, but just having one in each one is enough to give you the hope bonus. Now then, you promised your people they'd have enough decent food to eat, and you delivered. Well, of course I did. Was there ever any doubt? I mean, you know, besides early in the game when there wasn't really any food for people. I mean, enjoy your hot dogs. I'm just saying, enjoy your hot dogs. We should be good at this point, actually, to continue to make standard meals and leave the soup in our past. We are... Oh, let's see here. Yeah, we're running a profit in food for the moment, so until we start getting some more people, we're just stockpiling a little bit of food, and that is perfectly fine. What are we doing on coal? This I would like to be a much bigger profit, and we're gaining 90 steel a day. That is not gonna be enough. I may choose to... Let's see, we are in a temperature drop. It's gonna stay this temperature for a while, but we're set. Eventually I want to upgrade all these tents to bunkhouses, and that because you see the bunkhouses are nice and comfortable, and that will reduce the number of sick people. The fact that we're keeping people pretty darn warm, with the exception of their workplaces, which we will work on shortly, the fact that we're keeping people pretty warm is what's making this sick number stay down. And I think for the guard towers, we'll just take engineers. Like I said, we have well more wood coming in than what we actually need. We might actually go ahead and take 4 engineers off of there, because these watchtowers are very much like the infirmaries and medical posts. They have shifts. That's how they keep them running 24 hours a day. All right, so watchtowers are built. Hope rises. I skipped right past that screen, but you get the idea. All right, now then we just need them to finish building all of this stuff. We need to unpause this. I thought I did unpause that, but there we go. We need to unpause that. Now, the Londoners, we've already adjusted some of our hope by finishing that food quest. But when you first get this Londoners quest line started, you'll see that the tendency has 3 arrows pointing up. As you increase people's hope, you'll go down to 2 arrows, then 1 arrow, then a circle, and then you'll actually start getting down arrows. As long as it's pointing up, then every single day there's going to be a check in the morning to see if people join the Londoners, and if the arrows are up, some people will join the Londoners. The more arrows up there are, the more people will join. If it's an O, a 0, That means there's no tendency, nobody's gonna join, but nobody's gonna leave either. Your objective is to increase hope to the point that that arrow points down, preferably 2 or 3 arrows pointing down so that people are leaving the Londoners. Because after 15 days, whoever is still part of the Londoners will try to leave your city. Which maybe you don't care. I mean, by the time we get to the end of this, we'll have more employees than we know what to do with. So even if you aren't able to convince all the Londoners to stay, don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. Now, Snowcliff. The hole in the snow cliff leads to a small chamber. Someone lives here, but the lonely human figure we saw from afar has disappeared. It might be the sole survivor of Winterhome. The refugee from Winterhome. The man we've seen from afar was nowhere to be found. Searching his burrow, we found a diary of a scientist who fled Winterhome. After the starving city fell into chaos, its leader, an army captain, appointed himself an absolute ruler. Doesn't sound like anyone I know. He tried to impose order using force. I'm not forceful. I am a proponent of order, but I'm not mean. Plenty of people, disgruntled, deserted the city, and most of the others rebelled against him. All right, so we're gonna take the wood, food, and steam core stored here, and we will send our scouts out here to Freshwater Springs. Go, scouts, go. And we'll come back to our city and speed this up just a wee bit and wait for these buildings to finish, or deal with our scout first. The American camp. There's not a living soul in the camp. We found about a dozen emaciated bodies. Surprisingly, most of them were amputees fitted with I hate that word. Most of them were amputees fitted with prosthesis. I'm just gonna trip over that word because if I take the time to learn how to pronounce it, it's gonna take me all day. I can't do the thesis, prosthesis. My mouth won't do it. I give up. Starved Americans. The American camp was well supplied with everything except food. Small oversight there. I would know nothing about that, of course. Searching the tents, we found more victims of hunger. Most of them have badly worn but sophisticated artificial limbs bearing a company symbol. Tesla Manufacturing. We can only bury them and take their equipment. Fine with me. Steel, yes please. Steel and steam cores. So now we will send our scouts out to this temporary settlement and come back to our city and speed things up. Okay, we've finished the coal mine research. And what will we research next? I think what we need to work on, actually, because we're in a colder temperature right now, I'm thinking healthcare insulation. We've got the one infirmary going. It's chilly right now. Now, we could use the heater, but I would like to get all of our employee locations, all their workplaces, warmer, just as a base. So I'm gonna start with the infirmaries. As we upgrade the resource gathering buildings, every time we upgrade one of those, it's going to make it one level warmer. So we're just keeping with the infirmary, having the infirmary keep track with the rest of our buildings. So we're gonna go ahead and research that. And do we have enough for... We've got enough steel for one coal mine. upgrade, which I should have waited to do that until after 8 p.m. when they were all done working, but that's fine. That's fine. Everything will be fine. Care house promise fulfilled. Hope rises. That's right. I keep my promises. Stop acting like I don't. I haven't broken a single promise this game. Freshwater springs. Several pools are kept from freezing by a hot spring deep underground. Patches of hardy lichens cling to the bare rock at their edges. It looks like a good place for a hideout. Hello? Is anyone home? Near the freshwater springs, we met some refugees from Winterhome. They are a sorry sight and seem to be completely unmoved by the fate of their city. Asked what kept them from starving, they look away, then mumble something about eating lichens. Now, same choice as always. Escort, send, or leave. We're gonna go ahead and send them to the city. There's 22 workers and 7 children. City's that way. Keep walking. We're actually gonna come back around, swing back around, and pick them up. But for now, let's just send them that way, and we'll get them in a few. We're actually going to scout this frozen grove next. When we're done, we'll come back up the way we came to get that shrouded cave. Now that I am looking at this, 12 steel left. I think I probably should have upgraded one of the steel works before the coal mine, because that's where we're really hurting. We're also very full on food. Where is our cookhouse? Right there. I'm actually going to take these engineers off, and we'll let them build throughout the day tomorrow, because we've got plenty of food. And we're going to put at least one of them over here in the public house to open that up. A public house has been erected in accordance with the new law. People are anxious to let off steam in a new house of respite. Hope rises. Of course hope rises. I make hope rise. That's what I do. All right. So, not too bad. We started the day with 19 Londoners with a triple arrow up for a tendency to join the Londoners one day, and we're down to 1. We're going to gain some Londoners tomorrow and probably the next day, but by the 3rd day we should have it at 0 tendency, because they're a pain in the butt, quite honestly. I try to get out in front of them. So that was why early on I was concerned about hope, and I didn't want to finish the care house, and I didn't want to finish the public house, and I went ahead and took that quest with the food, was because I knew I would need those hope bonuses as soon as we scouted Winterhome. So now, my friends, the plot has thickened. We did pretty good today, getting everything sorted, minimizing our risk of people joining the Londoners, just min-maxing to my heart's content. Thank you so much for joining me on this 15th day in Frostpunk. If you've enjoyed this episode, hit the thumbs up button, and if you want to make sure you never miss an episode, subscribe. And while you're down there, ring that cowbell.